Todd Starnes is here. Todd's Daily Dispatch today. You can read more about it at toddstarnes.com. His Twitter handle is @ToddStarnes. And there is his fancy animation with the sound and everything. You got it going for you, don't you?
Rick, I'm living the good life.
Who do you know around here that you get all of these bells and whistles?
You throw a few extra bucks in the offering plate on Sunday and look what happens.
So I read the headline, Todd, Christian baker, and I'm thinking to myself, how do I know Christian? Is he like a public policy analyst at like the Cato Institute? No, you're talking about a baker who is Christian.
That's right.
And there's the rest of the headline. Faces boycott for refusing to make lesbian cake. Explain.
You know, it's going to be a good day when you got a lesbian cake story going in your hopper.
God bless you.
Yeah, this is a lady, Victoria Childress. She runs Victoria's Cake Cottage in Des Moines, Iowa. She bakes cakes. She's been in business for about a year and a half or so, and it's a small business. She's got 3 sisters, and they all bake cakes. Well, a couple of weeks ago, a lady came in and said, "Hey, we want to have you make a cake," and so they scheduled an appointment. Victoria baked 5 sample cakes, and the woman came in with her partner. And at that point, Victoria said, "Oh, we need to sit down and have a discussion." And she explained that she's a person of the Christian faith, and that she said she wasn't going to be able to bake their cake for them. There were no contracts signed at that point. They exchanged pleasantries. She explained her reasoning why. They said, "We understand. Thank you for your honesty." And then they left. And Victoria thought that was the end of it, but it wasn't.
Not the end of it.
The couple contacted the local media, and they got a telephone call from the local television station there in Des Moines, and that launched what has become a national story. A boycott has been launched online. Hundreds of people have signed up on Facebook to protest this baker, telling people to pull their business. The couple themselves have issued a statement saying that they believe that the baker is a bigot, and they're still weighing their options on whether or not they should file a civil suit or file a civil complaint against this baker. And here's the reason why, Rick. In Iowa, back in 2007, they updated the Civil Rights Act to include issues involving gender and sexual orientation. So, according to the state guidelines, this baker could, in fact, be in violation of state Civil Rights Act law.
A question for you. Victoria, is she the only baker in Des Moines?
She is not.
And so this couple could very easily have taken their business elsewhere.
They certainly could have.
And have you spoken to them, or what did they say to the local media about why they didn't just let it go and realize that, not everybody's going to be able to do business together?
They're saying that this is not about the cake. They're saying this is about equality and tolerance. And that's why they decided to speak out, because there are other bakers. As a matter of fact, they interviewed some of those bakers, and they said they'd be more than happy to bake their cake for them.
I'm sure they would. Listen, the economy is tough. You take business where you can get it, unless, of course, your strongly held religious beliefs just sort of steer you in a different direction.
There was another story I covered, I believe it was last year in Indianapolis. They have a sort of a city farmers market area, and a local family had a cupcake shop, mom, dad, and the daughters. And one of the local gay rights groups came in and said, "Hey, we want you to make some cupcakes for us with a gay pride theme." And the husband said, we're not going to do that because, we're Christian, and it was a similar situation. But in their instance, they said they didn't want to have to explain to their daughters what the gay rights movement was all about. So they ended up facing an investigation, and the city actually tried to have them evicted from public property because they were opposed to homosexuality.
Todd, I just had one question. The cake that the lesbian couple wanted, was it a sort of any kind of lesbian themed cake, or was it just a normal, regular cake?
Hold on a second, Adam. What do you mean by lesbian themed cake?
Well, first of all, I spend an inordinate amount of time thinking about cake. Let me make that clear. But my point is, was there, like the cupcake story, in other words, was there some sort of...
Anything offensive,
writing or whatever?
Decoration.
Adam, you raised
a question.
Great question. Great question.
I thought you were going to ask about the icing and...
I'm thinking about the cake. Don't kid yourself. I'm focused on the cake.
I hear you, man. I asked her about that, and she said that, no, as far as she knows, it was going to be a traditional wedding cake. But she did say that she refuses to bake what she calls naughty cakes as
Naughty
well.
cakes.
So she won't make naughty cakes.
Well, that's a whole nother business. That's
Right.
I'm sure there are plenty of.
And it's a lucrative business.
But the point is that if she doesn't want to bake a naughty cake or some other cake, to me, it would just make sense. Okay, this couple should just go someplace else. I mean, it's a private business. It's not like it's a public entity or she's the only baker in town or something like this.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I think that what we have seen across the country is, although there is a segment of the population that will always be opposed to gay marriages and gay unions and even homosexuality in general, there seems to be sort of a growing public acceptance by the public at large for these kinds of things, and we've seen that, with the passage of a number of laws in different states around the country.
Well, Rick, that was a big issue back, really over the past 10 years as we've seen states embrace these laws. There's been some fight back from African American groups who say it's not fair to compare the gay rights movement to the civil rights movement, but in fact that's what's happened. And now one of the arguments locally is that what would happen if this woman had rejected an African American couple coming in for a cake.
Right.